What if the person you were 5 years ago could see you today? That's what we're getting into today, because I recently came across a picture of myself from 5 years ago. You know when you get those notifications on your phone where it's like, on this day, 5 years ago, from Facebook or Apple, I forget which one it was, but it popped up and I was like, I looked at my face.
How'd you look? Like shit?
I looked horrible. No, I caught myself. I usually don't really look at those because I'm like, oh yeah, I'm too busy for this shit. So I don't usually look at them, but for some reason I did look at it this time, and I just stared into that boy's soul, because that's what I looked like, a little boy. And I just saw these eyes that were just like puppy eyes, like a kid who just had no idea who he was, just so much different than the man that I am today. And I had like this super emotional moment with myself, and I was just like, damn, I'm always looking to be this better man, but look how far I've really come, man. Like, look how far I have come from that boy staring at me right now.
Yeah.
And I feel like we all need that reminder sometimes.
Yeah, I'm proud of you, bro. You came a long way in the last 5 years and your life. But I think what you're saying is very true. Oftentimes we compare ourselves now either to the future place we want to get to and how far we are from that perfect version of ourselves that we see in our head for the future, or possibly even worse, compare ourselves to someone outside of ourselves, someone that sometimes we don't even know, we just see on Instagram who has posted their highlights, and we're comparing our life and where we are to where they are, and that makes us feel like shit about ourselves.
Yeah, I just feel like the people who listen to this show are like us in the sense that they're always striving to be better. And I think the trap that you can fall into when you're somebody who's always striving to be better is never feeling enough, because you're always striving to be better. You're never quite enough, right? If you have that mentality that you always want to be improving, it can be really easy to fall into that trap that you never feel enough. And I fall into that trap so much. And it's because of those two culprits. It's comparison of where I currently am to where I really want to be, which I think takes up 80% of my mental capacity. I set these goals and I obsess over a vision in the future where I want to be. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but I don't ground it in pride of who I already am. And I think this exercise of, instead of looking to the future, but looking to the past, thinking about how far you've come and building yourself up to a place where you don't need anything. You already are enough because of how far you've come, because of the hard shit that you've been through, and simply because you're alive.
Yeah.
Right? Comparing yourself to who you used to be versus who you want to be is such a powerful thing for our levels of happiness.
And yeah, exactly. I was just going to say, when you do this exercise where you look to your past and you see how much you've grown and changed, that really is the key to happiness, because progress equals happiness. When we feel like we are making progress, we feel happy. It is biological, right? It's psychological. And you even did some research with the brain, right? What's going on in our brain that causes us not to be happy?
Basically, we're dopamine hunters, and we just want as much dopamine in the brain as humanly possible. And so we set these goals because when we do end up hitting those goals, or even milestones along those goals, we get this rush of dopamine. But what happens in our brain is something called hedonic adaptation. And what that basically means is, once you reach a threshold of dopamine, your brain won't be satisfied with that same amount. So the next time it needs more. Right. So for example, a dumb example is I used to be addicted to nicotine. It started with 3 milligrams in my mouth, and that would make me feel amazing. And then after a week, my brain adapts and is like, all right, that's baseline. Now we need more. And so then I went to two packs, like 2 things in my mouth, and it just kept getting higher. I was going up to like 1 full pack of these things a day.
That's not the progress that makes happiness.
That is not the progress that makes happiness. So we do the same thing with our goals. We keep chasing one goal after the next, after the next, after the next, constantly looking for more, never feeling enough all along the way in this hedonic treadmill. And I think the antidote to that is, rather than comparing who you are to who you want to be, compare who you are to who you were yesterday. And to be even more specific, compare who you are today to who you were yesterday. And if you can narrow your life down to just getting better than the person you were yesterday, just making tiny progress, not compared to other people, not compared to where you want to go 10 years from now, 5 years from now, but did you make progress? Are you better than the person you were yesterday?
Yeah.
That's really the point of this.
1% better every day is a 37x over a year.
Yep. So call to action for today is pretty weird, I can admit. It's find a picture of yourself from 5 years ago, 10 years ago, whatever the hell you want. It could be a time in your life where you were going through some tough stuff. I think that's the best person to look at when it comes to stare into that person's soul.
But you know what? I don't know if people are actually going to do that. So I would just say, like, just think about it at the very minimum. Think about the person you were 5 years ago or 10 years ago, whatever that time frame is. And just think about what was going on in your life. What decisions were you making? Who was around you? What was your job? Like, think about how much you've grown since then. And a really practical thing is if you have social media and you have Instagram, it's basically like a time machine. Scroll down your Instagram feed and go to the first post you put on there and look at what you posted then and think about that person that posted it.
Yeah. And hopefully when you do that, you realize that you are enough. You are growing every single day. There is no reason to feel like there is this magical place in the future where you will finally arrive, because you're always arriving. And the reason I'm telling you this, person that is listening, is because I need that reminder desperately every single day. So hopefully it helps you to feel a little bit better today. And that concludes this episode.
Thanks for hanging out with us. Love you.
We love you and hope you have an awesome day. Peace.
Thank you so much for listening all the way to the end.
If you're new here, we share daily mindset motivation in 10 minutes or less.
So if that's your vibe, hit subscribe or just check out another episode right here.